I was a real estate agent and I left that specific industry 2 years ago. I could not pay my rent. I quit my job to do this. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Kira and it has almost been a year for me of creating on adult platforms with OnlyFans. I also have a slushie too, which I got it back in December and I'm still trying to figure that out before I give my full-on opinion about it. So stick back and subscribe with me if this is the kind of information that you're looking for. So this specific episode is kind of a lead-in into my 1 year. So technically my 1 year, like my first day of posting was April 1st. And so today I am filming on the 29th of March. And you know, you've probably seen my very first video. That's probably why you're here, is you subscribed to me by watching that. But if you have not seen that, I highly encourage you to watch that one so you can learn a little bit more about me and so that you can really see how far I've come. I've come so far. I was so scared filming that video. I was like so petrified because I didn't understand how OnlyFans worked. I didn't understand what it would be like to just tell the world that this is what I'm doing. So I was so nervous and so scared. And I think that that is so normal. I mean, a lot of people start as faceless creators. I didn't foresee myself as that. But what's interesting is that now I kind of do see myself as a faceless creator, not here on YouTube, but on, you know, my OnlyFans platform and my marketing. So that might be something coming soon, and I'll explain why I've decided to do that. It's not that, you know, I am afraid of what you're gonna like think what I look like, because I am being very open and showing everything on here as far as like how I look, how I act, how I behave. And so that'll be something coming soon into the future. I'm at this point in my business where I am learning about strategic ways of growing this business. And so as I do that, I will be sharing a little bit more about that. But I wanted to make this one a little bit of a story time so that you know a little bit more about me. I made my very first video, more information about me. And honestly, that's what I want to do with this specific video. And of course, it's a lead-in into my 1 year video where I am going to share some things that I've absolutely loved about creating in this year. And of course, there's going to be things that I didn't like as well, which I've shared a few of those on this platform, but I go a little bit more in depth in that. So you're definitely going to want to catch my next video. Okay, so like this is a lot. And I am ADHD, so a lot of times I'll take notes, and I did not take notes. So I may be all over the place. I'm not sure. We'll see how this ends up, where my creativity ends up being for this specific video. But I wanted to share some more things into who I am. I shared in my very first video that I am a mom. I am a mom to 3, and I have them in all ranges of ages. I have an adult child. I have an adult teenager, almost an adult, so almost at that 18-year-old range. And then I have a young one. My youngest is 9, almost 10. And so with that said, I share this information because I myself have not found a whole lot of people, creators, do what I do that are out talking about doing OnlyFans. I don't find a lot that have that huge range of different in ages. All of my kids live at home too, so it's an interesting dynamic. And I work. So I work almost 40 hours a week at another job, and it takes so much from what I'm doing here, what I'm trying to build here. It's a high paced environment in which, you know, everybody has like ups and downs at work. And currently, I have been dealing with a lot of lows. With that said, I still love that job. I love it. And I do plan to be there for another year or two, depending on what goes here. But I'd like to work less there. So I like to go and have fun with my friends, and but I really like me time. I like being able to create in this space and what I'm doing. So it's kind of been like an outlet for me. It's been really cool. I wanted to share a little bit more about my previous life that I've talked about a little bit about. I was a real estate agent, and I left that specific industry. And I'm going to share a little bit about that story. Okay. I literally fell into real estate. It wasn't something that I ever planned on doing. I, for the most part, have always been an entrepreneur. And when I had marketed and sold a business that I had, I didn't know what I was going to do. And someone came into my life that was in real estate and kind of talked it up. And I just literally fell into that mentorship. So I got my license, and I was really young when I did that. In fact, I got into it when the market was falling apart. So it was a horrible, not fun time to get your license. I learned a lot though, and especially in that first year working with the public and helping them buy houses. And then there came to a place where I just was not making enough to be able to make it as a real estate agent. So I went into the corporate world in which I needed my real estate license, and I did that for some time. And then there became a place where I was like, you know what? I really want to build this business. And that is what I did. It took about 5 years of me having my real estate license in order to break into it. And by break into it, making over six figures, every single year. I feel like it's really important to understand there's so many people that message me on, so many creators that message me in my emails and talk about how nothing's happening. I want you to know, like, if you're in your first couple of years, like, I think that's totally normal. It's so normal in business. This next part about what I want to share, I want to start out just by saying 2 years ago, I could not pay my rent. 2 years ago is when I put my license inactive and my real estate license inactive. And I quit my job to do this. And not what you're thinking, not OnlyFans. That is something that I leaned to, a year after that whole breakdown of, not being able to do anything. That came out after. And that specific part about leaning into OnlyFans has really brought me a lot of joy. It's brought me a lot of joy. And the part that I did quit my job to do my real estate career is to teach people about wellness, to teach people about how to find your peace. I basically tell people that I'm an inner engineer and I'm an intuitive leader and I know business. And actually, business is really fun for me. It's fun for me to be able to talk with you and to either teach business or look at your business and really see where you can improve and where you're going to be able to create the life that you really want to create. Because what I have found, this is what I did in my business, is I burned out in my real estate business. And I find that there are so many women that are doing exactly what I did. And I want to help save you from those mistakes, to help you create exactly what you're looking to do. And you may be making more money, but you don't have like the peace that you want either. So I am here to say that you absolutely can have them both. You absolutely can. So back to why I left real estate. Okay. So we talked about being really successful. We talked about my burnout. My burnout was caused by a multitude of things. But one thing in specific was I grew up in a very religious household, a household in which they would look at depression and mental illness as demonic and satanic. And so for many years, like I would never look at this diagnosis that I got in my early 20s was that I had chronic depression. And part of my burnout was because I was not able to go to a doctor and get diagnosed and figure all of that out. So between working all the time, because we're talking about 60 to 80 hours a week, put in this chronic depression diagnosis that I had many years ago that I wasn't willing or able, if we give myself some grace, I wasn't able to understand that it was something that actually needed help and that there was no shame or guilt in getting that. And the third was an incredibly dysfunctional business. The industry of real estate is extremely dysfunctional, and I can talk about it on so many different levels. People talk about this industry of adult creation and that it itself is dysfunctional. I feel like any business can be dysfunctional, especially when you don't know how to create boundaries and you don't know how to create systems and it is running you ragged. But with that said, to me, the amount of clients that can really drag you down in real estate or make you feel like shit in real estate, to me, is way worse than adult creation. And I don't know, maybe I had a different experience than some real estate agents. But there are so many platforms that talk about how dysfunctional it is and how it's running us ragged. And it's not just real estate. Like there's so many other businesses. Like you can be a straight up nurse or a doctor and find out how dysfunctional it is. So that is what I did in quitting, is come here into this wellness space. And I am so grateful to have finally found my niche, is with helping you adult creators. You have no idea. For years, like I had a following, but for years there was no actual connection. And the fact that I have it here now, it makes me so, so very excited. So I wanted to share, a little bit more about my personal story so that you know who I am. You know that I left 6 figures to come and create this space where I can teach wellness. And I will tell you, it was not easy. It was not easy at all. But I am so glad that I'm here. So I'm so glad to be helping you all be able to start your businesses, be able to create a business that has more sustainability, that's going to be able to, you may have the money, but you may not have the freaking time. And I want to help you have time. And the other part of this too is like the mental wellness that I'm able to create with my subscribers. And that whole part that I am creating and learning how to do all of this. We're all kind of learning together. And I'm really excited to be bringing my next video, which is my 1-year anniversary video. And I hope you catch that one. So definitely subscribe.